The Buffalo Bills massively fail to meet expectations and get embarrassed by the Miami Dolphins. My initial reaction to the game is coming your way today on Locked On Bills.
You are Locked On Bills, your daily Buffalo Bills podcast. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
What's up, Bills Mafia? It's Joe Marino, author of the Herd Mentality Substack, co-host of the Locked On NFL Scouting Podcast, co-host of the NFL First Read Podcast, and I'm your host of Locked On Bills. Locked On Bills is a proud part of the Locked On Podcast Network, now the #1 sports podcast network. And I want to thank you for making Locked On Bills your first listen every day, and a big welcome and shout out to our everydayers. You know who you are. Those of you who never miss a single episode, I appreciate y'all being here very, very much. Today's episode is brought to you by FanDuel. Right now, new customers can bet just $5. And if your bet wins, you'll get $300 in bonus bets to use across the app. Well, folks, welcome in. The Buffalo Bills got blown out by the Miami Dolphins, 30-13, and they fall to 6-3 on the season. Yikes. Now, I promise you that we're going to get to how bad the Bills were. But first of all, give credit to the Miami Dolphins. They smoked the Bills. The Bills chased the game for almost the entire time. And even when it felt like the Bills might get on track, they never did. Just an overall dreadful performance by Buffalo. Miami, they entered this game 2-7. They mutually agreed to part ways with their general manager prior to this game. Mike McDaniels is the laughing stock of the league. They trade away Jalen Phillips a few days before the game, and the Bills got outcoached. They got outplayed. And I don't want to hear about Bills injuries. I don't want to hear about them because the Dolphins had their own injuries. They're without starters, Rasul Douglas, Chop Robinson, and Julian Hill. They've got good players on injury reserve too. Tyreek Hill, James Daniels, Austin Jackson. That's two of their starters on the offensive line. Kader Kohu, Darren Waller. Despite all that, Miami completely outplayed the Bills. The Bills took a butt whooping from the 2-7 Dolphins, now 3-7 Dolphins. Felt like Buffalo, all they had to do was show up and they'd win the game. Eerily similar to that 6-3 loss to the Urban Meyer Jaguars. It's a bad day for the Bills. There's no doubt about it. They're going to get a lot of criticism. They deserve every bit of it. So let's do it. Let's talk about things I didn't like. We'll talk about some things that I like, but we'll obviously focus on a lot of things that I didn't like, and we'll start with the offensive side of the football. And honestly, I could just say everything and move on to the next talking point, but we'll get into it. Everything felt hard for the offense. There was no rhythm. They squandered opportunities. It was a bad day for this offense. Let's just look at the first 8 drives of this game. There was 11 total, but the first 8, you just look at so many bad sequences. Obviously, the defense gets an interception on the opening possession of the game. The Bills get the ball. You're all excited, right? The Dolphins look terrible. They start with a false start with 15 minutes left in the first quarter. They got to call a timeout. And you get Tua to throw a pick on third down. You're like, here we go. Here we go. It's going to be a nice cruise to victory for the Bills. Well, the Bills get the ball back. They go 3 and out. They get to 3rd and 2. They go hurry up. And they can't get a first down running the ball with James Cook. And then on 4th and 1, Sean McDermott punts the ball. You got to go for that, right? You get sudden change. It's early in the game. You're the Bills. You're the nearly 10-point favorites in the game. You got to go for that, dude. You got to go for that. Nope, you punt it away. So you take the turnover that you get, you turn that into a 3 and out. And what do the Dolphins do with the ball? They go 12 plays, 92 yards. They take 7.5 minutes off the clock. Good thing you punted on 4th and 1. The second drive. Okay, here we are in that 4th and 1 spot at midfield, and the Bills go for it. And what do? The tush-push counter. There it is. Did you enjoy it? Everybody wanted wrinkles off the tush-push. There it is. And the Dolphins were in perfect position. They capped everything that Buffalo wanted to do. It ends in a desperation heave to Jackson Hawes down the field. So you get a turnover on downs. The Dolphins go 51 yards and just a couple of plays, score a touchdown. It's 13-0. Third offensive drive, 3 and out. Third down was an incomplete throw to Keon Coleman in a contested situation, a wasted down. You punt it. Then you're driving once again. 1st and 10 from the plus 34. 1st and 10 from the plus 34. What happens? James Cook fumbles. Miami gets the ball back. They get 3 points. Now they're leading 16-0. All right. Still early. 4th drive. The Bills go 3 and out. What happens on 3rd down? Josh Allen runs into a sack. Runs into a sack on 3rd down. And then the 5th drive, you get the ball back before halftime. And Josh Allen makes a great throw to Dalton Kincaid, who can't catch it in the rain on 2nd down. So now you're in 3rd and 5. There's 33 seconds left in the half. You have 2 timeouts. You're down 16-0. And the Bills have a surrender run to Ty Johnson to just get to halftime. You're down by 16. You're down by 16. And you have 2 timeouts. It's 3rd and 5. You just pack it up and go to halftime? Did we learn nothing from the Eagles' loss a few years ago when you didn't give Josh Allen an opportunity right there? You're down 16-0. All right, 16-0. A lot of things went bad. We'll come out of the half. We'll get a touchdown on the opening drive, right? Huh. Well, boy, you put together a drive, right? 14 plays, 77 yards. You take over 9 minutes off the clock, and you don't get any points. Josh Allen with an awful interception on 3rd and goal from the 5. 9 minutes off the clock in the second half of a game that you're trailing 16-0, and you have nothing to show for that possession. Nothing. All right, 7th drive, it comes together. Get a 98-yard touchdown drive that's capped by a 35-yard touchdown pass to Keon Coleman. Thank God Ethan Bonner was in the game at corner. It's like their 4th or 5th string corner. So it's good that Keon Coleman was able to make that play. Gave the Bills some life. But the life went away real quick on the 8th drive. After another Tua interception, Josh Allen converts a 3rd and 1 tush push, crosses midfield, and fumbles. Miami scores a touchdown. You're down 23-6 in the fourth quarter. Game over. Game over. Just squandering opportunity after opportunity after opportunity. As bad as the Bills played, so many great opportunities. 3 great chances to score. You get a James Cook fumble, a Josh Allen fumble, and a Josh Allen interception. Your 3 best chances to score. Your 3 best, I mean, come on. You're answering Miami scores with 3 and outs, putting your defense right back on the field. Goofy short yardage play calls. I mean, it's just awful. Awful execution, awful play calling. You just looked awful. The Bills were scoreless until there was 12 and a half minutes left in the 4th quarter. The Bills went 0 for 7 on possession downs in the first half. Bad. It's bad. And look, you zoom out here, it's just too hard on Josh Allen right now. He doesn't look nearly as good under pressure. He's taking more sacks. He's turning the ball over. He's told you he's having a hard time trusting things. And some people were very frustrated with me that I was critical towards Brandon Beane for not getting a trade done at the deadline. Mad at my negativity. Okay, well, you know what? I don't enjoy seeing Josh Allen have to struggle like that against a bad defense, a bad Dolphins defense that was undermanned. They trade away Jalen Phillips. They don't have Chop Robinson. It's like Bradley Chubb, the ghost of Matt Judon, and some practice squad defensive ends. 2 rookie defensive tackles. They're down multiple starting corners. What? Sorry, I have higher expectations, but boy, it's hard on 17. It's hard on 17. And he's got his own issues too. He's not playing as well. There's no doubt. But my goodness, this team is just really underwhelming around him at the receiver position. And it shows every single game. And boy, Dalton Kincaid goes out with a hamstring injury. Come on now. big-time questions about the construction of this roster in several areas, including, first and foremost, wide receiver. So, yeah, not a lot to like about the offense, right? Awful. It was awful. One of the worst offensive performances I've seen from the Bills in years, probably. We'll talk about things I didn't like about the defensive side of the football here next, folks. Be sure to stick with me.
Today's show is brought to you by our friends over there at Peloton. Look, folks, it's time to break through the busiest time of the year with a brand new Peloton cross-training Tread Plus that's powered by Peloton IQ. It's Peloton's most elevated technology and equipment yet that gives you real-time guidance, and it gives you endless ways to move, whether you want to work out by yourself or if you want to work out with your favorite instructor, like my personal favorite, Alex Toussaint. He always gets me fired up to tackle the day. And the thing I like about Peloton, it helps me achieve more in less times. They have features that help you plan, stay motivated, track your progress, and Peloton IQ also provides personalized workout plans and recommendations. That's something that I use right now during the busiest time of the year covering the NFL. They plan my workouts for me based on my mood, my vibe, and also my favorite instructors. So make sure you check it out and use it because it also helps you correct your form in real time, and it maximizes your reps. It counts your reps so that you can do it smarter, safer, and more efficient. Let yourself run, lift, flex, push, and go. Explore the new Peloton cross-training Tread Plus at onepeloton.com.
If you're a business owner, here's the truth. SaaS promised to make work easier, but now the average company is buried by hundreds of apps that slow you down and simply don't work together. That's not SaaS. That's sad. Software as a disservice. That's why you need Rippling. Rippling is the unified platform for global HR, payroll, IT, and finance all in one place. They've helped millions of businesses replace a mess of disconnected tools with one system designed to give leaders clarity, speed, and control. By uniting your employees, teams, and departments in one system, Rippling removes the bottlenecks, busy work, and silos your software created, and everything from onboarding to payroll to IT access runs automatically and perfectly in sync. It's seriously simple to use and gives companies one source of truth for their people, data, and everything they touch. And check this out right now. You can get 6 months free when you go to rippling.com/LockedOnNFL. Learn more at rippling.com/LockedOnNFL. That's rippling.com/LockedOnNFL for 6 months free. Terms and conditions apply. Well, welcome back, folks, and thank you for making Locked On Bills your first listen of the day, and thank you for making Locked On the #1 sports podcast network where it's your team every day. All right, let's talk about the defensive side of the football, and we are focusing on things I didn't like. I promise we'll get to a couple of things that I did like, but, look, the Bills got smoked 30-13 in a game that they were 9.5-point road favorites. This wasn't supposed to go this way. So there's a lot to be disappointed in. So sorry if I'm being negative. I think the team's clearly earned that today. What I didn't like about the defense, and first of all, I want to acknowledge that they were put in some very tough spots. Offense turned it over 3 times, right? That's never easy for a defense to deal with. But I also think about the Bills in the first half after Miami scored their second touchdown and then their field goal. What did the Bills offense do? They went 3 and out. They went 3 and out after the second touchdown and the field goal. On a hot day in South Florida, upper mid-80s, whatever, it's warmer than the Bills are used to. Landon Jackson goes down early with a knee injury. You've only got 3 defensive ends now with Jackson out, and one of them is Joey Bosa, who's playing with one hand. You got Daquan Jones having to play reps at defensive end in his first game back, with a couple of guys at defensive tackle that started the year on practice squad. And then the offense just kept putting those guys right back out there. Put them right back out there. Can't do it. That's just horrible complimentary football. I mean, literally horrible. The Dolphins average over 8 yards per pass and over 6 yards per run. The Dolphins. And they got explosive touchdowns, too. They get the 38-yard touchdown where Jalen Waddle cooks Maxwell Harrison for a bomb. Then they get 2 rushing touchdowns late in the game, a 59-yard touchdown run, a 35-yard touchdown run late in the game when you know they're running the football. And that's where the Bills really get in trouble, where they try to load up and defend the run, and then they get creased and they score. And the Bills' second level is just an absolute mess. An absolute mess. It's hard to reconcile 8-58 out there. Boy, they struggle. Run themselves right out of plays over and over. Not showing physicality. Tired of watching these other teams' linebackers actually like make plays, stack a block, shoot a gap, make a play. These guys are all over the place. Defensive tackles are a mess. They're a mess right now. Too much displacement, getting moved off the ball. And yeah, it makes it a lot harder for the linebackers to play sound ball when the defensive tackles are never where they're supposed to be, just getting moved all over the place. Missed tackles galore in this football game. And you could feel the lack of depth at defensive end, right? I mean, you got Rousseau, you got Bosa on one hand, and then Javon Solomon. I mean, he's getting a lot of opportunity, but I think you're realizing there's just not much there. Just not much there. Could have been such a good group, but you're down Hoyt. You go from Hoyt and Epinesa to Solomon, and you get 3 plays of Jackson. The next thing you know, Daquan Jones is having to play some reps at defensive end to get through this game. It's a mess. The game script really allowed Miami to stay two-dimensional. We talked a lot about the type of game that Miami needed to play for them to win, and boy, they got it, huh? They got it. The whole thing is with Miami is you just get a little bit of a lead, and boy, they don't know how to handle it, right? You get them into a drop-back passing game, and it looks ugly. Well, the exact opposite happened. The Bills got into a bit of a drop-back passing game, and it looked ugly. Tua wasn't sacked, hit only twice on 23 dropbacks. Allowed them to stay with the run. Not good. So, yeah, I recognize the defense was put in some really tough spots. I do. And I give them some grace. I mean, I think they kept the Bills in this game for a reasonable amount of time. Offense couldn't do anything with it. Complimentary football, just not there. Just not there at all. Talk about a couple of things I liked from this game. I thought Cole Bishop, he played well, right? And he's continuing to stack some good performances. Had the nice interception, had some good fills, played physical. Mostly liked what he did. Cam Lewis in the slot, I mean, back-to-back really strong performances. Yeah, he missed one tackle, but I think he's been really competitive as a run defender and in coverage. I think he's doing an admirable job filling in. I thought Joey Bosa on one hand coming away with a couple of tackles for loss. Was pretty impressive. I thought Greg Rousseau was clearly the best defensive lineman the Bills had. He saves them so many times with his ability to defend the run because the D tackles and linebackers are just lost. And how about Mitch Wishnowski, the Bills punter? I thought he was awesome. 4 great punts in this game. Now, there were some moments that I also like. I already mentioned Cole Bishop getting an interception. I like that Maxwell Harrison got an interception in this game. I know that he gave up some completions down the field to Jalen Waddle. But it was cool to see him get a pick, right? Something to kind of give him some confidence, something to build off of. He's a rookie that, is in a tough spot. Obviously played great the last 2 weeks, not as good this week. But I'm glad that he has an interception to kind of show for it and keep, some momentum going here for him. I like that Jackson Hawes scored a touchdown. Kind of felt empty late in the game, but I'm not trying to take away from it. It was a good play. It was awesome to see that happen. And then Keon Coleman did score a touchdown late in the game. Or it wasn't late in the game. That's not true. He scored a touchdown. I guess all of the Bills scoring was late in the game because they didn't score until there was 12:39 left in the fourth quarter. So, yeah, it was late in the game. Now, again, it's on Ethan Bonner, who you realize how many players had to get hurt at corner for Ethan Bonner to go in the game? Keon Coleman, 8 targets. Half of those felt like wasted plays. So, yeah, a couple things to like. But overall, just a dreadful day for the Buffalo Bills. All right, coming up next, I want to comment on a few injuries. We'll recap my predictions. We'll talk about what's next for this podcast and the Buffalo Bills. So, folks, be sure to stick with me. The NBA is back, and there's no better place to get in on the action than FanDuel, the official sports betting partner of the NBA. Even if you missed the start of a game or you want to ride the hot hand, FanDuel has live bets on everything from who will score next to fourth quarter comebacks. Plus, you can even combine your live bets into a same-game parlay for a shot at a bigger payout. It keeps every game exciting, especially when your team's making that late push. Right now, FanDuel is giving new customers $300 in bonus bets when your first $5 bet wins. So head to FanDuel.com to sign up and play your game with FanDuel, the official sports betting partner of the NBA. Had some unfortunate injuries in this one. Obviously, Dalton Kincaid, we don't know the severity of it, but it was a hamstring, and he was ruled out for the game. And look, it's unfortunate. The guy's having a great year. He's missed some time with an oblique. Now he's missed time with a hamstring. Last year, he's missing time with a knee. It's frustrating, right? Because he's so talented, but keeps getting banged up. And this passing offense is not as good when he's not out there, obviously. And your next opponent is Tampa Bay, and then you got a short week to Houston. I'm not a doctor. I don't know anything about Kincaid's injury, but I'll be surprised if we don't see him, if it's not until after the Houston game, until we see him next. And going up against two good teams here. Well, like Houston's at least got a good defense. You have to do it without your best pass catcher. Landon Jackson goes down with a knee injury. I don't want to get crazy, but went down with a knee injury, ruled out pretty quick. He's got a history of ACL tears, and that's really unfortunate. Think about it like this: let's say that he does have an ACL tear. I mean, what do you even count on him next year? Year two, barely any playing time in his rookie season, and when he comes back, it's going to be after the start of the season. He's not going to get the regular off season that he's going to need. So how do you even count on him? Meanwhile, you have contract decisions to make on Bosa and Epinesa. You'd like to know something about Landon Jackson. You're probably not going to get that opportunity this year, and you're probably not even going to get to see him back on the field until midway through next season. So it's going to be 2027 before we really find out anything about Landon Jackson, assuming this is an ACL tear. That's unfortunate. I think the rest of the players finished the game, but there's always a mystery injury. Always, right? This past week, it was Epinesa, concussion. Nobody even knew he had a concussion. The next thing you know, he misses the next game. What's it going to be this week? But we know Kincaid and Landon Jackson got hurt. Let's look at my predictions. I had 5 of them. My first was that Josh Allen would have 300 total yards and 3 touchdowns. I got the yards. He had 337 yards. A lot of that feels extremely empty. That's why you just can't care about yards. And I actually, Sean McDermott in his post-game conference, he talked about, he didn't care about yards. Like, these are meaningless yards. 337 yards. Does anybody care? And 2 touchdowns. You gotta find better ways to measure success than yards. The Bills entered this game as the number 1 yards offense in the NFL. And they'll probably finish this week as the number 1 yards offense in the NFL. Do you really believe they're the best offense in the NFL? Because by total offense, they would then be number 1. Does anybody really feel that way? That's why I care about things like EPA. So anyways, I got that wrong. 337 yards, 2 touchdowns. I said 3 touchdowns. I predicted that the Bills would have more receiving yards for their tight ends than what they averaged. They averaged 77 receiving yards per game, and the Bills got 100 receiving yards from their tight ends in this game. So I got that correct. I also predicted that the Bills would get more than their season average of receiving yards from running backs. The Bills averaged 19 receiving yards from running backs. They got 48 in this game. So I had the right idea, I guess, that the tight ends and running backs would have some production in the passing game. That certainly happened. My fourth prediction was that the Bills would have a player that records their first interception of the season. And remember, only 4 players had intercepted a pass this year. And they get 2 interceptions, but they're both by players that got an interception already in Cole Bishop and Maxwell Harrison. They both get their second picks of the season, and I predicted that the Bills would win, and that did not happen. So I go 2 for 5 on predictions this week. So the Bills are 6-3. And I guess 6-3 is not a terrible mark, but when you think about these games that they've lost, the Falcons game, that just feels gross. That team's exactly the team I told you they were, and the Bills dropped to them. Patriots game was obviously very disappointing. Can't stop Drake May late in the game. You beat yourself. And then this one, gets smoked by Miami. It's just a team that has a lot to prove in terms of who they are. Going into week 11 next week. You played 9 games. You played more than half of your regular season games. And I don't really have much confidence in what to expect from this team on a weekly basis. They kind of reeled us back in out of the bye. They beat the Panthers and Chiefs. Everything feels really good. They humbled us quick, didn't they? Humbled us real quick. Meanwhile, the Patriots, they beat the Bucs. Patriots are 8-2 with a head-to-head win over Buffalo. They're probably feeling really good. Drake May's playing great. He's now the favorite to be the NFL MVP right now. It's going to be a battle here. I mean, for not only the division, maybe that's not even going to happen this year, but this wild card stuff is going to be real. It's nice that the Bills have a head-to-head win over the Ravens and the Chiefs. But the road this year is going to be a lot different. And it's fair to question the capacity of this team if they really have what it takes to do it. A lot of football left, but you're not getting any new players. These are the players. In fact, it's more likely than that more guys are going to get hurt. I mean, well, so you'll get Josh Palmer back. That's exciting, right? I'm happy about that. I'm excited to see Gabe Davis. What else are you going to get back? I guess Shaq Thompson. Hopefully they'll start him over Terrell Bernard. You get AJ Epinesa and Taron Johnson back, so there's some of that, but there's nothing new that you didn't already have coming. Maybe Gabe Davis. I don't know. It's tough. It's tough. It's tough to really see this team going on a meaningful run based on what they've showed you this year. But you got to play them and see what happens, right? You got 17, you got a chance, but this team makes it real hard on 17. Next up for the Bills, like we talked about, is a home game against the Bucs, and it's a quick turnaround to the road date against Houston. So we'll see. Can they win both those games? That'd be nice. Can they lose them both? Yeah, they certainly can. Can they split them? Yeah, that's a possibility. But when the Bills play Tampa next Sunday, that's a pivotal swing. You're going to play 2 games in a short amount of time. The second one's on the road against a really good defense, and we'll see what the status of guys like Dalton Kincaid are and what new injuries come up. It's a defining stretch. Next up for this podcast, is Bill Squad. So we're going to go live 1:30 p.m. Eastern time on the channel here, the YouTube channel. Had some travel stuff with the guys this week, so our post-game show will be 1:30 on Monday. So come on back for that, and then, of course, we'll get to work on the All-22 review. That'll come either later Monday or on Tuesday morning. And I'm excited to break this one down. I know that everyone's going to have their things, right? Nobody's open, or, Josh Allen's playing, whatever it is. The truth's always in the tape, so we'll break it down. We'll share the thoughts. Get in on the Herd Mentality Substack, by the way. This is a great week to do it. Of course, you get my All-22 film clips. It'll be 30, 45 minutes of me breaking down plays, showing you things. Are guys open? Are guys not open? What's Josh Allen's process? What went well? What didn't go well on both sides of the ball? We'll do that. But also, this is going to be a big week for the Substack because my second quarter report card's coming out. So I'll go through and grade every component of the Bills team, give it a grade, compare, metrics, and we will, of course, talk about what's going well, what's not going well. You also get my player grade updates. So every quarter of the season, I go through and I adjust the grades that I have on every Bills player. So that's coming this week in the Substack, on top of the normal stuff, which is, Josh Allen Weekly, the scouting primer, All-22 review clips. And you get into our Discord channel, which is awesome. We've got over 2,000 Bills fans in there, and we go live every Wednesday night. So looking forward to that this week. We do a herd hangout where I'm with everyone for usually an hour, hour and a half, sometimes 2 hours. We'll break down some film. We'll take some questions, and that's all part of those who are on our Discord channel. So go to thejoemarino.com, check all of that out, and definitely become part of the Herd Mentality Substack. This is a busy week for the content that is coming in there. All right, folks, obviously disappointing game for the Buffalo Bills, and they got a lot of soul searching to do with the stretch ahead. As always, I thank you for being here. I always kindly ask that you share, subscribe, rate, and review. Have a great rest of your day. Go Bills. Look forward to catching up with you again real soon.